Oh, that's awesome. Good. Callan, it's been a long time coming. You've won 9 out of 10. Tell us how you're feeling finally getting the call up to the big show, and what's the energy right now heading into Sunday?
Yeah, very excited, man. Very excited. Everyone's sort of picking on that the long time coming, but I keep saying it's actually probably a good thing. It's put me into a position mentally as a veteran style fighter now, where it's not as overwhelming being in this situation yet.
Right. And obviously you've been doing this for a long time. Certainly around Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, we've been calling for you to get in the UFC for a long time. But is there some part of you that is kind of annoyed that it had to come in circumstances where you're coming in on short notice, or is that just part and parcel of the fight game, something you have to put out of your mind?
Yeah, it's part and parcel. I sort of knew by this stage of the career that was going to be my inlet, so I always make sure I'm training, I always make sure I'm in shape. Especially if there's a card in my hometown, I always make sure that I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So that was my next question. Were you training in anticipation of thinking that this was probably something that could come on your radar?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The great thing with our training group, and like I've said to a couple of other guys, we've had now 4 people as part of the training group make the biggest stage. We're always training, whether we have fights coming up, other people have fights coming up. We're always training, always getting rounds in, and always getting prepared.
Right, so there was no trepidation about the weight cut or anything like that? Like when you got the call, you knew that you were going to be able to come correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been very lucky to have Jordan, the fight dietitian, come on board and help out with the last couple of weeks to get the weight through down, and it's just made everything super easy. Everything.
Awesome. You're competing at the Rod Laver Arena. Obviously, that's an iconic venue in Australian sports. This will obviously be the biggest show that you've ever competed on. You talked before about coming in with a veteran mentality, but is it, it must mean something to be in a big venue like that and to be on the big stage?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I accept that there's going to be new nerves that I probably haven't felt before. Instead of trying to hide from them, I just accept that they're going to be there and get my job done anyway.
So you're coming up against a young, dangerous Jalin Turner. His career in the UFC hasn't panned out the way that a lot of people expected it to. What's your assessment of the strengths that he poses, and what's your prediction for Sunday?
Yeah, look, he's a big, long, tall, rangy striker. You know what I mean? I've fought a lot of these types in my career. He's very clean with his technique, and very, very tall and rangy. The great thing is that he's got the perfect body type that I like to grapple. So I think that's how it's going to play out. I'm very happy to think about that. We'll impose my black belt level jiu-jitsu and put that forward.
Your close friend and training partner, Dan Kelly, he was lobbying to get on this card. We did a big feature on him earlier in the week. What are your thoughts on the fact that the UFC didn't give him that opportunity to have that swan song? And is that something that you can even consider, considering this is your journey, now you're starting your UFC career?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a big part of all our training, myself, Jimmy, Jake, all the boys are involved down in that group. He's such a big part of it. He's definitely the dad of the group, and we were all rallying for him to get that shot. It didn't come to fruition, which is very, very sad. But look, Dan's. If I could achieve 1/4 of what Dan's achieved in this industry, I would be absolutely stoked.
So you mentioned before Jimmy's fighting on the card at the same time. Can you just give us a sense, like what is it like peaking at the same time as one of your training partners and being on, almost one of at least the top 3 biggest combat sports events in probably Melbourne history?
Yeah, it's sensational. Jimmy and I were just walking on the way down to here and just talking and shooting it, and we realised that we've been through this process before. Obviously, it's now on a heightened level, but it's great to be able to share this process with him. You know what I mean? I've been talking to him, training about it leading up, and it's just great to have someone there that's going through a similar journey, and someone that you see on a regular basis.
Right on. Australasia has been producing a lot of big names in MMA right now. Obviously, 2 of them on the main event and the co-main event. What do you attribute to having been someone who's been in this game for a long time? Why are we seeing so many guys come to fruition and really make waves in the UFC right now? Like, what is it about this period?
Yeah, we're really hitting our peak now. You sort of going through, Australia's on that one little backbone. I think we're sort of just behind maybe Europe, London area, and you saw that same sort of process there, and we're hitting that right now. Everyone's sort of realising the ways to train and the ways to prepare and the skills required to meet the upper echelons of mixed martial arts, and it's really hitting the Anzac community right now, which is sensational.